You're listening to the Live Free podcast. I'm your host, Christine, author, speaker, mentor, and guide. I'm here today to discuss living life after adversity, to discuss living life fully once again, a life of hope, peace, and resiliency, a life fully embodied. I utilize the lessons that I learned going through not one, but two primary cancers. I'm here today to guide you to your joy, turn your pain into power, and lead you back to yourself. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Live Free podcast. Today, we have Laurie Rogers on the podcast. Laurie is a dynamic speaker, mindset expert, and a co-founder of a multi-million-dollar women-owned business. As the creator of Positive Activity, Laurie helps individuals and organizations transform burnout, stagnation, and overwhelm into clarity, momentum, and sustainable growth, both personally and professionally. Her work blends 25 years of business success with deeply personal lessons learned through her journey of reinvention. With infectious energy and a practical, no-fluff approach, Laurie empowers audiences to shift their mindset, build better habits, and take daily action towards a more purposeful life. She also offers specialized programs for the disability and special needs community inspired by her lived experience as a family advocate. I really loved our conversation today with Laurie because, first of all, she does have such an infectious energy about her, but also she is the classic story of burnt out, tired, worn out, feeling like this life has just got nothing to offer, and then making this huge shift through mindset. And so I'm really, really looking forward to connecting you with Laurie. I think you'll love this episode. Let's get started. Welcome, Laurie, to the podcast.
Thank you, Christine. Happy to be here.
Oh, I'm just so happy to have you. As I said earlier, your bright, smiling face is just such a wonderful thing to see in the morning. All right. So where are you tuning in from, Laurie?
Right now I'm in Nashua, New Hampshire, which is north of Boston, Massachusetts.
Okay, excellent. So how is the weather out there today? Pretty okay?
It's kind of dreary and drizzly today.
Dreary and drizzly.
Muggy, hot, warm, typical summer
Okay.
weather. Yes.
Typical summer weather. Gotcha. We end up getting a lot of really bright sun, beautiful days in our summer, and then
Mhm.
of course really cold winters.
Mhm.
Okay. So Laurie, what brings you to the podcast? What is your zone of genius that you are going to speak about today?
Whew. Wow, that's a big word. I hope my zone of genius is what activities I did, what things I learned to help me break free or melt away that cage of fear and worry and anxiousness I was in back in 2010, 2011, 2010 or so. Um, Things, piled up at that time, which I can talk about. And then I
Yes.
just happenstance learned about other things and activities to help calm and be at peace and help to lower my anxiety and worry and fear.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for bringing this subject matter to the podcast. I am, we're certainly in the right place here. This podcast focuses mostly on when you've gone through something difficult and you have a really hard time bouncing back. And
Mhm.
so that sounds almost precisely what we're going to be talking about today. Some of the tips and tricks that you have learned. So let's
Mhm.
dial back. Let's regress back to when that anxiety hit you. So let's talk a little bit
Sure.
about the Lori back then.
Sure. I didn't really know this until I kind of like 10, 11 years ago looked back and I saw myself as a child a very kind of a worry wart back then. And just a few months ago, I saw a picture of myself when I was 4, and it was a family photo. And there I was, like in the photo, not really smiling and like picking at my cuticles, like just in a nervous like habit. I was like, oh my gosh, it started back then and I didn't even know. So, I mean, I have a happy, lovely family, a happy, lovely childhood, but I always had that deep-rooted sense of worry and fear and not wanting to do anything wrong or get in trouble and somewhat of a perfectionist. And, that mode of operation followed me into my adulthood and college years and high school years. Even though they were all amazing and wonderful, there was like this underlying current.
Mm. Mhm.
So back in like, and then, fast forward, I got married, I have 3 great kids. Our middle child is diagnosed with autism with very limited speaking. I would call him a non-speaker or a limited speaker. We can talk more about that in a few minutes as well. But back in
Sure.
2010, I don't know if you remember, in the United States, there was a recession, and we are
Mhm.
business owners. We own our own company, our own business, and many of our
Okay.
clients weren't ordering anything. We own a swag business, so anything that you can put a corporate logo on is what we do.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that was like not a necessity to survive in your business world, but it's to our clients anyway. So there were less orders. There was a lot of
Yeah.
fear and anxiety around that. I was worried, how are we going to pay our suppliers? How are we going to pay our bills? Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
so there was a lot of fear and worry around that. At the
Yeah.
same time, my daughter was home recovering from a head injury she suffered in college lacrosse. So she
Mm.
was,
Mhm.
this superstar, fit, amazing athlete in her bedroom in the dark, no TV, no phone, no computer, no nothing. So that was like gut wrenching and heart wrenching,
Of course.
experience for all of us. And then I have my middle son who was transitioning, who has autism and transitioning out of high school into the adult world, which at that
Mm.
time in 2011 was like, go, what are we going to do? Like there's not that many services. How are we going to keep him, having great functional days every day? So there was all that worry and fear around that. And I just, all of that together
Oh,
was a
yes.
lot. And I didn't have the skills at that time to process it, think about it, be open to creative ideas to helping me. I didn't have the tools to stay calm. All I did was worry, watch the news, see the news every day, watch TV, worried, 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 and thought about all these awful, awful, awful things. So
Mhm.
one
How do
day,
you Oh, sorry.
was sure. One day, my daughter said, "Mom, I want to go to this wellness fair. Will you take me to a wellness fair?" I said, "Well, I don't even know what a wellness fair is, but sure, let's go." And she had already started meditating to help to heal her brain.
Mm.
And she read like The Power of Now. She was reading something. So I saw what she was doing, but didn't really understand it.
Mm.
And we
Mhm. Mhm.
went to the wellness fair, and that's where I picked up a few books. We went to some presentations and learned about the power of your thoughts, your words, and your emotions, and how they're all connected, and how they're connected to the universe, and how they're connected to thoughts flowing to you. We learned about meditation, we learned about an appreciation practice, all these things that I now teach about um, to help just calm and build my resilience. I had no resilience, so to build my resilience up. I mean, maybe I had some resilience back then, but not enough. Not enough. I didn't feel I had enough. And I didn't feel I was worthy of things. I didn't feel that um just spiritually and otherwise I was brought up in a way where no, you have to work hard for all of this. You have to pray for all of this. You have to be good before you get all of this. And learned a
Mm.
different way of thinking and believing around that as well. So it just like was a 180 for me. So I said, all right.
Yes.
I kept reading, I kept thinking, I kept studying. I'm like, all right, I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm tired of feeling anxious and fearful and worried every day. So what if I have to sit for half an hour in the morning and do these activities? All right, I'm going to try it. And it was just It was just a decision I made that I just didn't want to feel this way, and there has to be another way, a better way, an easier way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so this has all of a sudden hit you. You've gone to this wellness fair for the purpose of your
Mhm.
daughter, and while there, people are saying things that are just Greek to you, but yet
Yeah.
you're like, teach me Greek. I want to know about this stuff. You
Mhm.
all seem calm, you all seem relaxed. I want to be calm and relaxed.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So one
Wow.
of the first things I did was when I garnered in on thoughts, words become and your emotions, and those become your beliefs. So remember, I said I was saying all those terrible things about our business, our clients, our work. Why am I doing this? Why am I in sales? Why can't I just go get a 9 to 5? All these things. So what I would
Yeah.
do is take a sticky note and write the opposite of that on a sticky note.
Mm,
There is plenty
amazing.
for everyone, including me. My clients love me and buy from me. My suppliers respect me and do the best they can for me. And I would put these sticky notes up all around the wall around my office computer. So I would see them. And whenever that other little cranky little critical thought would come in, I'd just look at the post-it note and then I learned to thank that thought. I said, okay, thank you. Thank you for showing me that little issue. Thank you for reminding me that that could happen. Thank you for trying to protect me because your ego wants to protect you so badly. But I say, thank you for trying to help and protect me, but I don't need you right now. So you can go sit over here, and I'm going to believe this note that there's plenty for everyone, including me, that, my clients love me, like all these things. And not just around business per se, but great ideas are flowing to help Craig's future. About my son, whose future we were, trying to create at the time
Mm,
in his adult world. Or my daughter is healing; she's happy and calm. So I would just flip those to positive thoughts, and I put the sticky notes up. And then, so that started to help, like, just calm. I started to meditate, which I crack up because I remember when I say that to people, like, oh, I can't do that. I said, believe me, I understand. The first day I ever sat down to do that, I think I could get through 30 seconds. I set my
yeah,
timer
yeah.
for 30 seconds. That's all I could do to just like, mm, and
Yeah.
just be at peace for 30 seconds, and then I just kept adding and adding. And now I do about 10, 50, it depends on the day, 10 to 15 minutes in the morning,
Wow.
which really helps to calm. I
Mm,
exercise every day. And then the big thing I started doing was an appreciation practice. So every morning, grab my journal, grab my coffee, and I write down three unique things that I appreciate that happened in the last 24 hours. And that has been scientifically researched to help shift that default mode program in your brain. Because your brain wants to look for danger, warning, watch out for this, watch out for that. That's our default mode. And fine, that's the way we needed that millions of years ago, and we don't really need that today. I mean, maybe if a bus is coming at us, yes, we need that, but we don't need it for every little issue in our life. An email or an order goes wrong, or your son is having a bad day, or, you know, I'm not feeling well, or I'm sick, or whatever the case may be. So, what we're trying to do with that appreciation practice is teach that brain, this beautiful mind, to say, no, 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 there's a lot of great things happening right now, too. So it trains your brain to look for those good things as well, to sort of balance out that, the negative and scary thing, because that's not going to go away. We need that probably, to survive, but we need this over
yeah.
here to balance it out. So
Right.
I just love that, and I do that every day, and also a conscious act of kindness. So whether it be an email or a phone call or a note or something that helps, that thanks someone, or that did something wonderful for you in your life or your child's life, or for your business or a supplier or what have you, and you write them a note or a text and thank them and tell them how much you appreciate them. It makes you feel good to do that, and it makes them feel great to receive something, and then they may do it for other people. So you've got this ripple effect going of compassion and kindness and goodness. And so I try to do that every day or just and smile more and just, you know, things happen. We are all human and we have families and we have businesses, we have work, we have lives, we have friends, we have peers, we have disappointments and challenges. But I've raised my resilience up so that I don't drop down into the ditch anymore. I can stay, I can go down a few notches and be like, but I can just say, no, I know things are working out. I know this can work out. I know great ideas will come to me. And, it helps to settle my nerves. So it's not like I
Mm.
don't ever get anxious or worried. Yeah, I do. But I've got some tools now to help me work through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and this is a wonderful list of tools that you've given us. So thank you for that. I'm hoping to be able to list them out in the show notes because, these are really practical, really easy tools that you can add in. That being said, Lori, though, I'm curious, as a chronic overthinker, as a chronic worrier, as somebody who is chronically in anxiety, how did the beginning stages of some of these tools go for you?
Wow. Let me think back. So we're going back like 14 years. Wow. That was I think, well, because I'm like an overachiever type person, I was like, I'm gonna make this work, right? So like I said, the meditation was hard because just to calm that mind. But someone said this to me one time, thoughts are going to come into your brain when you sit down to just try to be in peace for 10 minutes. Because your brain, that's its job. Its job is to think thoughts. Its job is to have thoughts coming in. So you don't treat them badly or make yourself, criticize yourself for having thoughts or be mad at yourself for not having a clear mind for 10 minutes. You thank the
Hmm.
thoughts, you treat it like a little baby and go put it in its crib and say, thank you. Thank you for that thought. I'll get to you later, but for the next few minutes, I'm going to do this and stay in my calm and try and just breathe and just listen to my breath. So
Love that
the
advice.
meditation was probably a little more challenging for me. The exercise was easy because I was doing that anyway, and I just changed my thoughts around it, and I thought, no, I'm doing this for the great endorphins in my body to keep physically fit and healthy, to have, the energy to get through the day, that kind of thing. Even if it's just, and I don't, when I say exercise, I mean gardening for 30 minutes or taking a great walk in nature for 30 minutes, which is super calming. It doesn't have to be at a gym or an aerobics class or anything like that. It's just moving your body for 30 minutes. So that I was already doing. The sitting at first, what was challenging for me was, oh geez, I've got all these things to do today. How am I going to take 20 minutes in the morning and do this? So once I realized and once I believed that I was worthy of these 20 minutes for myself, then it changed. And then I got in a routine. And now, well, science has shown that if you do something for 21 days, it becomes a habit, more likely to become a habit, just like brushing your teeth in the morning. So now in the morning, I can't not do it. I'm like disheveled if I don't have those 20 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever I've got that day. Um,
Right.
yeah, so once I started, it was about carving out the time that got hard,
Mm.
not the actual physical, activities of doing it. Oh, and I should say,
Wow.
as the years have gone on, I've added in a few more things. So I read the book, The High
Okay.
Five Habit, that Mel Robbins wrote, which is a great book. She fills it with how to and research and what that's all about. So doing my high five every morning and saying something kind and nice to myself, in the mirror, you might not get that all day. So to do it for yourself. You're your own best friend, and treat yourself kindly with compassion. And every morning I do that. I've also just learned about tapping, which is really cool, which really helps to set your. Oh wow. The shift in my worry and anxiety after doing like if I'm worried about something or anxious about something and I've learned how to tap through that, it's really effective. So that's something I would suggest. I just started doing that a few months ago. I'm not an expert at it yet, but I'm learning more and more about it. And I just love it.
Wow. Yes, EFT has a ton of research behind it.
Yes.
And it has been proven to be very, very helpful to derail things like anxiety, worry, panic, those sorts of things. So great work
Yes.
there. Wow. Well, this is just it's so cool. And thank you for sharing a little bit of insight into the beginning because when I think about someone listening, they might say, "Oh, well, that's all well and good for Laurie. Good job. I don't necessarily have the time. I don't necessarily have the faculties to do that, etc." Right? We are excuse making machines, aren't we? And so, so I thank you for giving us a little bit of insight into how it felt difficult in the beginning as well and how over time it's really become a habit for you and
Mhm.
something that has become something you feel that you deserve so deeply that this is, these are my 20 minutes. This is my time.
Mhm.
So great work there. So what has changed in your life as a result of all of this work that you've done?
I think, well, my overall feeling and emotions and reactions to things have changed. So if my son has a bad day, I initially will feel a little bit of, and then I say, no, okay. I feel the emotion. I let it flow. I've learned to let it flow through me, process the emotion, and then just know that once I'm in that better feeling place, an idea will flow to me. Because good ideas, you know, answers to problems and solutions to issues don't come to you when you're riled up and when you're in that stress and you're in that worry. You're just blocking them. So I say,
Hmm.
all
Hmm.
right, the sooner I can get into homeostasis and feeling better, I know the ideas will flow, and I know, like something will occur to me to help him.
Love that.
So,
Yes.
that's changed a lot to not go deep, to not go in the ditch anymore. Just to, come back. I might go down a few notches, but I can come back up and figure things out. Might take
You
a day
know,
or a week, but that's okay. Sometimes it's a couple hours, but it depends. And I
right.
think, I have more abundance in my life. I have more peace and calm. I don't know. It's a sense of flow. My space feels better. Everything feels better. I do a lot of feng shui in my home and in my office. So that's another thing too. So everything is like clean and organized, and I just help the energy flow. It's still a work. Honestly, it's still a work in progress. I want to
Oh,
feel
yeah.
healthier, and I do have some like things that I'm like bugging me in my healthcare, and I'm like, hmm. So it's still a work in progress where I want those
Always.
to get better, right? And we're writing another book, so I'm feeling a little procrastination around that. So I want the ideas to flow and just be in a process for doing that and feel better, and because when you're happier and lighter and more optimistic, you just feel better about doing your projects. You have better teams that work for you. You have, happier kids and are lovely and wonderful. You live longer, you have less stress and depression in your life. There's so many things that have been researched and linked to being more optimistic and positive and more joyful. The key is, how do you get there? Okay, that's great. That's these
Right.
these benefits are great, but how do I get there? So what
Yeah.
we do is teach people the processes and the activities to help them get there, to live in that more optimistic state.
Wow. Oh, that is so cool. And you say when you said we, tell me a little bit
Mhm.
more about that.
Oh, sure. So, positive activity, you can go to our website, positiveactivity.net. And Neil and I run workshops, my husband Neil, and I run workshops and webinars. We mentor people, and we each have our specialties. So, I'm the mindset shifting guru over here. And he is too, but he likes to focus on business development and how it can be used in your business life or in your activities of your life, that kind of thing. He wrote a book called Bar Tips. Everything I need to know in sales, I learned behind the bar. So it's very fun. It's a cool little book. You can get it on the website too. And
Very
he
cool.
loves teaching, entrepreneurs and kids coming out of college that are trying to figure it out and find their way. So it's a group effort. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So you've both kind of come into this space then. Similar timelines, would you say?
No, I kind of dragged him along, but once
Oh,
he saw
fine.
once he saw what I was doing, he was like, what's going on over here? So then
Yeah,
he
yeah.
started doing the practices too. Yeah.
Very cool. And then also heard you say you're writing another book. Could you tell us a little bit more about
Oh,
that?
yes. So the second book we are working on is I don't know the title yet, but the components are navigating the special needs world. We have a son with autism. So he's 34 now. So navigating the special needs world with optimism and compassion and empathy. And it's sort of taking our lives from diagnosis through now. I'm writing it from each chapter is my perspective as the mom, and Neil's perspective as the dad, and then Craig's perspective. So I said Craig was a
Cool.
non-speaker, limited speaker, but 2 years ago, we discovered this program called Spelling to Communicate, where he points to letters on a letterboard, on a 26 letter board. I wish I had one here, I would show it to you, um, to communicate with us and spell out what he wants. And we just
Cool.
discovered this when he was 31 years old. He's brilliant. He's so tapped in and tuned in. He knows so much. He knows his family, knows his cousins, knows his aunt and uncles. And honestly, he never paid attention to any of it, right? He was in his spot, in his world, and
Mhm.
silent pretty much. So we didn't know what he knew. And he's very
Mm.
smart. He wants to keep learning. He wants to get a college education. He wants to teach other non-speakers. It's opened up a whole new world. He has
Wow.
friends now that he communicates back and forth with on the board. So we're writing. So that's the end of the book, right? That's where we are right now. But it's just
Yeah.
navigating through all of that, um, and what our experiences were with him in school and things like that. So we're
Oh,
really excited about it.
oh, congratulations. This is so exciting. Such a beautiful moment. And it's brought me back to your sticky note, creative ideas flow for Craig. And it sounds to me like, with a little time, those creative ideas did flow.
They did. It's so funny too, because when we had two people suggest the spelling to communicate to us, and the first person who suggested it to us, who we're friendly with still, I grabbed the book, and on the book it said an autism miracle as the tagline. And after 30 years of miracle seeking and thousands of dollars spent and roads traveled, it was like, oh, not another one, right? So I put the book aside and I didn't even look at it. And then it wasn't until 6 months, 9 months later, a friend of mine said, Laurie, you should chat with Dr. Heather, this new doctor in town. She's on this board. But so I went and spoke to her, and she said, Laurie, have you read Underestimated, which is the book that talks about spelling? Like, no, but it's at home, and I'm going to go home and read it tonight. So it took, you know, a, I was open to ideas, but I'm not always listening to them, right? So I did listen
Fine.
till the second or third time I heard it. So I was like, all right, there must be something to this. So that's how it started.
Right. I had a similar experience with the Power of Now book. It was kind of,
Uh,
do you want to read this? And oh, this is a really good book. And then I saw it in a coffee shop, and then, and then I was like, okay.
all right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that book changed my life. So I'm curious then on this line of books, what was if you can think back that far, what was kind of
Mhm.
the turning point book for you? What was the one that really put a lot of information in a clear way that you could comprehend at the time?
Yes, I think and I'm looking at it right now on my bookshelf. One of the first books I read was You Can Heal Your Life. by Louise Hay. I was like, what
Oh, I
about? I
have that
know
book in my shelf
she's,
and I
it's beautiful book,
haven't read it
beautifully
yet.
illustrated. And she talks about your I am statements and your power statements, which I still use today. What you say after I am is super
Mm,
important because that's what you are going to become or what you are, if you know, whatever your belief is. And I just love that book. The other one
okay.
was The Happiness Advantage, which is very scientifically driven, but I have a
Mm,
math brain. I have a master's in math and I'm very like kind of like black and white that way. So I
I
like that book by Sean Acor because he goes through the research. He's like
love that.
he's researching the law of attraction per se. Like he's researching it, but he doesn't call it that because he's a
My kind of
scientist
book.
and you know, but that's fine. And that was really great. I love reading anything by Abraham or Jerry or Esther Hicks. I those books are great. Yeah, I'm looking at all of them here. Most recently, I just read Let Them. I'm sure everyone's listened to read that. It's the most popular
Mel
book right now,
Robbins.
but by Mel Robbins, it's over here. Um, I was like, that's a game changer for sure. Yes.
Hmm.
And the Four
Okay.
Agreements. The Four Agreements
Great.
is this tiny little book that's so cute and adorable. I like to give it as a gift. Talks about, you know, not taking things personally, not, you know, speaking ill of yourself or others, not making assumptions. Because when we do those things, they set us on a downward spiral or a downward path for no good reason. And usually what we're thinking isn't true anyway.
True.
So, you know, learning to do that and learning to, you know, look for the best in challenges and things that happen.
Okay, amazing. All right, so I'm going to reiterate some of those. So we've got You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. So that was kind of the
Hmm.
starting point.
Hmm.
And then we moved on to the scientific book. What was that one again?
The Happiness Advantage.
Happiness Advantage. Perfect. And then it sounds to me like you moved into Abraham and Esther Jerry Hicks. So that was
Yeah.
kind of a little more ethereal.
Right. And they have
Takes
many books and they're all wonderful. Yes.
They're so impactful. I absolutely
Yes.
love listening to them. And then you moved into the Mel Robbins world from there, yeah?
Hmm.
Okay. Beautiful. All right. Well, that's a really good list for someone. Oh, sorry, and the four agreements. That was another
Yes.
one.
Yeah.
Really good one. So I'm just thinking, I'm just thinking about the person listening who's like, you know
Hmm.
what? I want that glow. And I interestingly started the conversation. That's the first thing I said to you. I said, you have this beautiful glowing smile. And it's true. You have a youth about you. You have a brightness in your skin, in your eyes, in your face, that really radiates. And so I'm not sure if 30 years ago you had that or not.
Mhm.
But you certainly do now. There's no question.
Thank you. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. That's sweet.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Yeah, you radiate. And all the work that you're doing. And so, somebody listening might say, you know what, I want to radiate. I want to have this brightness and this lightness. Where do I begin? And so we've got a couple of starting points here for the beginner wanting to do a little research, and then we've got your the workshops. You said webinars, so that sounds to me like that could be cross country, because
Yeah.
I have got a lot of Canadian listeners, so that's really excellent. So they can
Hmm.
enter your world. Then, like you've got, the for an entrepreneurial style, we've got the this barkeeper's book. For parents dealing with autism, we've got an autism book coming out that's going to be phenomenal, I'm sure. And so lots of information to offer.
Thank you. Also, for people just starting out, on our website, positiveactivity.net, there's a little tab that says free downloads. So if you click on that tab, the activities I listed earlier, they're all printed out. So you just have to print the PDF. And
Amazing.
there's a one pager with all the activities, and then there's another one, another PDF. It's called the playbook. And it describes each of those activities in a little more detail and why they work or what you do. So that will give
So cool.
people pick and choose what feels right for you. Pick it. Well,
Yeah.
Lori, I'm not doing all 10 of these things, but I'll do these two today. And then maybe
Yeah.
add one on every week or something. So that will give people a little guideline to get started.
I
Because
love that.
asking me, well, what do you do exactly? I said, okay, this is what I just wrote it up, put it on a PDF, put it up on the site, and people can, not that I don't mind talking to people, of course I do, but then they can three-hole punch it, put it in their binder or in their journal and reference it, you know,
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Yes. So what
sure.
I'm going to do is I'm going to skip the show notes entirely, and I'm going to make people go to your website and find this. Because that will be amazing because you've already done the work, so why do it twice? But also you've got a nice detailed description of how to do it and what to begin with and what does this task mean to you, that sort of thing. So it's going to give somebody who's interested a nice roadmap. And so that's excellent. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely. Okay. So any remaining thoughts that you'd like to leave, Laurie, with the listener? I'm still going back to the beginner, the person who's feeling like the weight of the world is just on their shoulders. What might be
Oh
something that you might give them as a piece of advice?
my gosh, the flow of consciousness, this just came to me.
Beautiful.
So I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
Um, Everyone came to this earth not to struggle and strife and be in fear and worry, but we're here for freedom and love and joy and to accomplish our goals and to have all that we desire. You have to feel worthy enough to have it. And I guess if I had to leave one piece of it, like, look at your, if you're in the car, pull down the mirror in your car and look at yourself and say, I am worthy. I am loved. I am love. I am amazing, and I can do this. And or go walk into the mirror in your bathroom or your bedroom and say something kind and nice to yourself, and remind yourself that you're an amazing human. Someone did. I'm gonna have to look it up because I keep talking about it. It's like 1 in 2 trillion chances of this human being, me, you, anyone on Earth right now, of
Mm,
all of the things that needed to happen for that to happen. It's this scientist figured it out, uh, and I thought that was I thought that was amazing. I'm like, 1 in 2 trillion chances that I'm here on this earth. Well, there's a reason, and you all have a gift. You all have a reason, and you all have an inner glow. Just tap in. Absolutely tap in.
mm.
Yes,
Wow. Wow. I'm in awe of your piece of advice. Thank you so much
you're
for
welcome.
that and for coming on the podcast today. And I'll also link your website so that people can check out your workshops and the PDF and everything like that. Okay.
Terrific. Thank you, Christine. Have a
Terrific.
good day.
Thank you so much for being on.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this last episode, then consider rating the podcast. Those few seconds that it takes makes a huge difference. Also, if you are interested in mentorship, transformational programs, or reading the book Unbroken, Rising Above, Thriving Within, then take a look at the show notes for all the resources and links. Always remember, you can overcome any obstacle. Let's do this together.